working with vectors. Vectors have two components, magnitude and direction. So displacement is an example. You think of it as distance in a particular direction. So it could be like 5 kilometers due north, 10 kilometers due east. Velocity, again, we can talk about speed and direction. So velocity, for example, would be like 5 meters per second due north. That would be a vector quantity. Similarly for acceleration, force and weight are measured in newtons. So you've seen that before. Those are the units. So again, force can have a direction as well. So these are vector quantities. The quantities which are not vectors are called scalar quantities. So these things here are called scalars. So they only have a magnitude, a numerical value, which is positive. So distance, speed, time, and mass are always going to be positive numbers. So these are called scalar quantities. Okay, this is a weird example. Different situations. If we take the direction to the right as positive, so if you've got an object which has positive velocity and positive acceleration, that means the object is moving to the right. So the positive velocity means it's moving towards the right. Positive acceleration means the object is getting faster and faster and faster. So the speed is increasing. So the motion is to the right, moving in a positive direction, and the speed is increasing because the acceleration is positive. What it tells you. Situation B, positive velocity. So again, the object is moving to the right. The acceleration is negative. That means the object is slowing down. So that means it's moving to the right, but the speed is decreasing. Situation C, negative velocity means the object is moving in the opposite direction. So the object is moving to the left. If the acceleration is also negative, that means the velocity is getting more and more negative. So that means this actual speed is also increasing. So the speed is actually increasing. Okay. So if the velocity is negative and the acceleration is negative, then the overall effect is that the speed is still increasing. Situation D, negative velocity. So the object is moving to the left, but the acceleration is the opposite sign. Okay, so that means the velocity is going to be slowing down. So the speed is decreasing. Those are the 4 different situations. So in situation D, the sign of the acceleration is opposite to the velocity. So that's called deceleration or retardation. So in situation B and C, the object is slowing down. So if the object is slowing down, that situation is called, we say the object is decelerating or retarding. Okay, so that's for situation B and C. Okay, so if you do physics, you will be familiar with that idea, I hope. So distance is the magnitude of the displacement vector. Speed is the magnitude of the velocity vector. Okay, so this relates to the previous work. If the velocity is given to you in remember the ij notation. So this means that you have an object which is moving like 3i to the right, means 1, 2, 3, 5 up. Okay, 3 and 5. So object is moving in this direction, and the speed, so that's how it's moving in meters per second. So for every second, it moves in this direction. That's after 1 second. It moves 3 to the right and 5 up in 1 second, and it just repeats that motion every second. So in another second, it will go 3 to the right and 5 up again. So that after 2 seconds, it will be over here. The speed of the particle is simply the magnitude of the velocity vector. So you've seen it in the earlier work. Work out the magnitude, you do Pythagoras. So to work out the speed, you want the modulus of the vector. So that notation is the magnitude of the vector. So basically, it's how long the vector is. So you need to do Pythagoras. 3 squared plus 5 squared. That's how they got root 34, which is equal to 5.83 meters per second. So that is the speed. It's just the magnitude of the vector. Find the angle the direction of motion of the particle makes with the unit vector. Okay, so it wants the angle the vector makes with the I vector. So the vector I is a vector which is 1 unit long in the I direction. That's what the vector I looks like. And the J vector is 1 unit upwards, like that. Okay, so the angle they want, so this is the direction of motion. That's the velocity vector. So the angle they want is with the I vector. So you take the I vector, you attach it to the end of the velocity vector. That's the I vector. Okay, so that's the angle they want, theta. So you can work out that angle using tan. So this is the angle they have. Okay, so it's 3 along, 5 right. So the equation to solve to get the angle is tan theta equals 5 over 3. So the angle the velocity vector makes with the I in the I direction is 59 degrees. If they said with the J vector, you would do something similar. Okay, it would be 3 to the right, 5 up. But the J vector is 1 unit upwards. That would be the J vector. So the angle they would want then would be this angle. Again, you can use trigonometry to get that angle. Okay, that angle would be the same as this angle. Any questions on that? One example left, example 7. Again, this is related to stuff you've done already. A man walks from A to B, then B to C. So the motion is A to B and B to C. Displacements, so remember, that means 6 to the right and 4 up. So he's gone 6 to the right and 4 up. B to C means 5 to the right and 12 down. So that looks about okay. What is the magnitude of the displacement from A to C? So you need to work out the vector A to C. Okay, so by the triangle law, AC is simply A to B plus B to C by the triangle law. So you just add up the vectors 6i, 4j, so they've used the column vector notation. That's the displacement from A to C. Okay, so remember, you can think of it as same thing as saying 11i minus 8j, same thing. Okay, to work out the magnitude, you need to do Pythagoras on it. So you do Pythagoras, and that's the magnitude of the displacement. So you just do Pythagoras on it. Part B, the total distance the man has walked. So the distance the man has walked is actually the distance A to B plus the distance B to C. So you want to work out the magnitude of the vector AB plus the magnitude of the vector BC. Okay, so you just do Pythagoras on the vector A to B separately, Pythagoras on the vector B to C separately, and then you add the two values together. That will give you the distance walked by the man. That's it, really. First bit is about displacement time graphs. If you're required to plot a displacement time graph, they usually use the letter S for displacement. S is displacement. So remember, displacement is the position of an object from the origin. So if your displacement time graph is a straight line, that means the object has the same displacement from the origin. So the object is not moving. In other words, the object is stationary. This is what a displacement time graph with a constant straight line tells you. Object is stationary, not moving. Second situation, if you've got a displacement time graph and it's a straight line but not horizontal, okay, that tells you the object changes position at a constant rate. So in other words, the object is moving with a constant velocity. So in other words, the displacement is actually equal to the velocity times time. Constant velocity. Third possible situation, here the displacement is increasing, but it's increasing not at a constant rate, increasing at a greater rate as time increases. So as time increases, the rate of increase of the displacement is increasing. So this is actually the same thing as saying the velocity is increasing. So it starts saying the velocity v is increasing. So for extra information, constant velocity means the acceleration is 0. So it's moving at a constant velocity means the acceleration is 0. Here, the velocity is increasing, so the acceleration is actually just positive. Results, okay, for any kind of displacement time graph, the gradient tells you the velocity. So here, the gradient is 0, so that's why the velocity is 0. Okay. In the second situation, the gradient is a constant. That's why the velocity is constant. Formulas: average velocity is the displacement from the starting point divided by time. And the last one you've seen before, average speed is the total distance traveled divided by the time taken. The last one you must have come across before at GCSE. Speed is distance over time. So there's one example I'll go through. So this is a displacement time graph. They've used the letter D instead of S, but that's okay. So I'm going to work backwards, it's easier. I'm going to do part C first. The average speed for the whole journey. So you need to work out the total distance divided by the total time. So if you look at the graph, this person has rode the bike 5 kilometers, stopped for a while, and then rode 5 kilometers backward, 5 kilometers back. So the total journey distance is going to be 10 kilometers, 5 plus 5. That's the total distance traveled. Total time taken is 65 minutes. This is in minutes. So when you divide, that will give you 10 over 65. The units will be in kilometers per minute. To turn it into kilometers per hour, you just times by 60. 60 minutes has 60 minutes in 1 hour. So to convert it into kilometers per hour, you just times by 60. So 10 divided by 65 times by 60 will give you 9.23. So kilometers per hour times by 60 is about 9.23 kilometers per hour. Okay, that is the speed for the whole journey. Okay, that's part C. Part B, working backwards. Okay, average velocity for the whole journey. Okay, the average velocity, you need to work out the displacement from the beginning divided by the time. So for average velocity, the formula says you want the displacement from the starting point. So the formula says displacement from starting point from start, divide by journey time, divide by the time taken. So if you think about it, for the whole journey, the person has started ridden 5 kilometers to somewhere and ridden 5 kilometers backwards. So because the person has returned to the starting point, the displacement is simply 0. So just basically it's going to be 0 over 65, which is equal to 0. So the average velocity would be 0 kilometers per hour. So the displacement is 0 because the person has returned to the starting point. Remember, displacement is the distance from the origin. Does that make sense? Okay, that's part C and B done. So part A, you need to do more work. Average velocity for each stage of the journey in kilometers per hour. So there's 3 stages to this journey. Okay, so 0 from the start to A. So I can call it 0 to A, origin to the point A. Then it's from A to B. And the third stage is B to C. So I'm going to work out the average velocity for each stage. So the average velocity, I need the displacement from the start. So for O to A, the person has traveled 5 kilometers from the start. So the calculation would be 5 over the time. So no, this is 5 kilometers. The time taken to go from O to A is 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes. Okay, so in other words, that's 0.25 kilometers per minute. Okay, to turn it into kilometers per hour, you times by 60. 0.25 times 16 is 15. So it's 15 kilometers per hour. Okay, so that's for the first stage of the journey, O to A. In A to B, the person has not moved. So there's no motion. Okay, so because there's no motion, the change in displacement is just 0. So you just have 0 divided by the time taken from 20 to 50. It's 30 minutes, so it's just going to be 0. So you can just say 0 kilometers per hour directly. Okay, because the person is not moving, he's just sitting there. That's for A to B. That's the average velocity. B to C. So this time the person has gone from 5 kilometers back to the starting point. So the calculation you could do from B to C then. So back to the starting point from position 5 kilometers, divide by the time taken. So 50 to 65 is 15 minutes. So that will give you minus 1/3 kilometers per minute. Okay, so the minus is important because the person is changing direction. Okay, so remember it's because it's average velocity, the sign makes a difference. To turn it into kilometers per hour, you times by 60. Times by 60, then that'll give you minus 20 kilometers per hour. That will be the average velocity for the third part of the journey. Okay, so if you're going forward, you get a positive velocity. If you're going backwards, you're going to get a negative velocity.